Okay, I got these end panels off the Pioneer, was it SX410 or something, and I'm just wondering, so it looks like these come off in different layers, because I've actually ordered some like vehicle wrapping vinyl that I'm thinking of sticking over the top of this. Oh, that does, looks like you can get that upper layer off, which would probably be the ideal one to get rid of, since it is really the only bit that's peeling off a lot of the time. Yeah. It's probably going to come off in 1,000 pieces though, because I don't really want to stick to this stuff given its poor condition. It's just going to leave it lumpy and bumpy and probably start peeling off again. The other option is to try, no, I don't want to try and stick it to the wood, bare wood anyway. Now you could probably put varnish, lacquer, whatever all over it and try and do something there, but this might even be the go if I can get this off without too much hassle, but of course every little cut, scratch, whatever, it's going to break when it hits that bit, or just break from, looks like the sun's got to it or something, it's gone brittle I think. Let's see if we can do it a little slower. Ah, damn it. Yeah, one little break and it's gone. I think this backing bit's quite good on this piece. It wasn't so good on that front bit. So that's come up quite good. I think that will be a suitable surface with a bit of a clean. And this is the stuff I want to replace it with, which, given this is probably faded a bit, it may well have had to finish something like that originally. But I think that'll look pretty good. It's a little bit louder than the original possibly, but these do look kind of plastic and tacky anyway. Partly because that's exactly what they are. And now that I realise this is like a clear, semi-clear thing, so it's getting this colour from that backing, and it's not particularly nice. Matter of taste I guess, but oh no. We're ripping again. But this is up a bit on the corner, so maybe I have to glue a bit of damage there too, but that's to the wood underneath I think. Maybe it's either been hit or it's got moisture in it and expanded. Ah, damn, just when you're getting a nice front, it gives up on you. Yeah, that corner, I think that can be glued down or maybe even cut off if need be. Yeah, the problem is if you peel this bit off, you've just got raw wood underneath I think. And nothing much is going to stick to that. That one's already gone. This one's coming. Oh, look at that, perfect. Wish they'd do that every time. Right, yeah, you got a little thin sliver there. That's what's broke this, started this one breaking off. Ah, useless. It's just some very brittle. I can grab a bit there and maybe keep it going. Oh no! Just when you think you're right to pull on it a bit, it snaps off. Yeah, like that. Maybe it's getting too much angle on it or something's the problem. I'm sure I'll work out how to do it by the time I've finished and never will need to do it again. Beautiful. Besides that ratty corner, I think some of that's going to have to go. Or can I? Maybe I can glue it down. I don't really want to fix it, and it's not 100%, but that's going to be very hard to get that corner good again. I think I might have to scrape a bit of any dirt and stuff out. Loose chipboard or whatever. It's got wood stuck to it, I think. Yeah, there's a few bits of damage on the edge, which is annoying. Maybe I should try and wrap this stuff around the next side as well, I don't know. Let's see, that's the underside. Might even use some methylated spirits that might really eat into this plastic a little bit and remove anything on it. Weird red stuff coming off it. Possibly glue used for the upper layer, I don't know. All sorts of muck coming off. Well, that was the other thing, wasn't it? Grey, that brown stuff comes off the layer. There is a layer below that by the look of it, so that's what I was going to look into, whether we can peel yet another layer off. I don't think whatever that layer, it's got a strip of stuff around the sides, but it doesn't look like it's got it on the ends, so definitely don't want to peel that off the ends. And if it's in place well on the other bits, I think I'll just leave it. It goes to show you can peel down to one more layer. Both of these have gone down to that layer. That corner's pretty good. It does have some marks which may show up again. I think I've got to cut this accurately into 3 different bits, which is going to be the fun part. Really need a good guillotine or something to cut it, I think. Maybe I can use the straight edges it came with, assuming they're straight. This was just a sample piece. I think 2 A3 size sheets or something. Looks pretty straight. I might even just cut it to length. Yeah, what do we do at the corners? Do we try and butt up? I think they left a little bit of a gap on the corners, which would probably make sense. I guess what I could do is just glue it to this front corner. No, that end hasn't been cut straight. I think I've been lucky and got the edge of a corner of a bigger sheet or something here, so that's... How do I get that where I want it? This one. If I put that corner there, start there and just stick it on and then cut it to the panel might be the safest way. The other one's going to be a bit more difficult, but I think that's what I'll do. I think I've got a paper guillotine somewhere, but finding it could be another matter. Probably want some sharper scissors too. That'll do for just getting it down to size. I probably should cut a strip off the other side so we've got a bit for the top. Oh, it'll cut it right off here, I think. Oh, but I'm going to take the backing off, so no. Definitely not. Make it a little bit bigger. But I want to save that bit as a matching top. hard part's going to get getting this thing positioned properly. That's pretty good, that corner. Now I've just got to get it straight. No, don't stick your bugger. That's always a problem. I need to stretch it out. I'm no expert at this stuff, but I think if I can get that along that side. Oh, we've gone over, bloody gone over. Oh, shite. I think the only method is to leave it hanging over the front a little bit. That's already looking a ton better than the older stuff, and then I've just got to use a scalpel or something to cut out those screw holes. There's a bit of a bubble there. There's a couple of little bubbles. Oh yeah, there are too. Really need to push them out or something. Don't think it's going to come up perfect. Is there any lumps there? There's no lumps there, I don't think. There is there though. I can feel something. Definitely something stuck to it. Could have come off me. So I'm going to have a few lumps and bumps, but anyway, it's... Can't see anything there, can't feel anything there. There's one little lump there maybe. No, we got rid of most of them, besides there's a couple there that just do not want to go. That's where that scratch was, I think. But yeah, that's not too bad. A million times better than what it was, and of course once you look at it from a distance and not under a bright light like this, you're not really going to notice little bits unless you look up against it. It's very glossy, this stuff, so maybe a little bit too glossy. Let's see if we can trim it. Should be able to trim down the side with some scissors, hopefully. Angling them in a bit. It's not perfect. Like I say, I might get a scalpel, because I've got to cut those other holes, but that's getting close. Use a scalpel to finish off any little bits on the edges, I think. Yeah, scissors are probably not the best idea. I think a blade along there would be better, or maybe just do these a tiny bit at a time. But yeah, that leaves a little bit of a rough edge. Bit of white showing, so that needs to come off. At least I've got the bulk of it out of the way. Okay, ran out of memory card, but I kept going with this one. And besides, you can see a few little lumps and bumps. Quite a few of them, they start popping up again. Some, I think that's just the roughness of it below, but got the other edges done. I'm really happy with that. Probably not up to the level of like a full restoration or anything, but it'll do for this one, which is probably only going to be a display piece anyway. Still a million times better than what it was. So just, yeah, use the scalpel, and if you basically just have a little edge there, you just sort of push the scalpel in towards the wood and shave off little bits. Often you can get like quite a long piece in one go. There's a couple of little bits of white showing through the corners. I did cut one of the corners, yeah, those two corners where they join. They were starting to lift a little bit, so I just cut a little piece off them. These top ones may be the same. May need a little bit because they will tend to catch on things and flick up. But for a first go, that's not too bad. And yeah, I just cut the two holes out. I could almost use a little ring that I cut out there, put it down, because they've only left a rough chipboard finish where they've drilled the hole out, but once the screw's in there it kind of hides it, but they were never a brilliant finish from the start. The better ones, I used to have a little metal washer that would go down in there, and then the screw, and the washer would cover up all the chipboard, but Pioneer cheaped out a little bit on that one, I think. So I'll do the same on the other one. Basically the same process of cutting the main bits. Ideally you probably would cut these on a guillotine or something that's ultra straight. Actually this one does have a straight corner as well, I think. I don't know how straight it really was, but it wasn't too bad. It didn't seem to line up 100%, but that would be the ideal way to cut the thing to the correct dimensions on some better piece of equipment. That cuts a perfectly straight line, and then stick it on and sort of go from there rather than try and do it this way. But this is good enough for a bit of a home, bit of a backyard repair, I guess. And if it's just your own equipment that you use them for display or whatever, I mean, if you're going to make a proper good resto on a hi-fi system, I would probably, like I say, get someone to make a nice quality bit of blackwood or something, or you know, some even fancier bird's eye hue and pine or something, and you could really make a good go of it then. But we'll just stick that on, cut out the holes, shave off the edges, and then use that off cut piece to do the rest. So let's see if we can get this. Now it's got tape around it, I guess, to stop it peeling off when it was sent. And rolled up. But this I don't think I'll worry too much about getting it too accurate. I'll see if I get as much bubbling on this one. I forget, you meant to use a spatula or something to smooth it out. Yeah, probably the professionals would use something, I'm sure. Well, that edge is quite straight, isn't it? So maybe if I get that lined up, and then we'll get a bit of a bubble. Even if the front edge isn't straight, probably doesn't help all this putting on and taking off stuff. Got of course, you let go of it, it sticks to everything. So don't let go of it. And this is the problem, you've really got to get one edge lined up, so that makes it difficult to keep the bubbles out. Quite a messy job, really. Probably if you do this sort of stuff all the time, it's nice and easy, but I don't, so mine's going to end up more like one of those home install jobs of the window tinting in your car that goes all bubbly and horrible. Yeah, still a few little bits in there. Like I say, unless you really shine a light on it, you don't notice, but not the greatest. And then you just kind of come along. These need to be cut back a little bit from the front because there is a bit of edge on those bits that are stuck on. I guess that's why they have the stick-on bits on the other two faces. Yeah, I didn't cut that quite perfect. Actually took a little bit too much out there. But guarantee if you do it on camera it won't go well. There's one little bit there that needs to go. Yeah, you don't even need to use the scissors necessarily. Doesn't always come out as straight as you'd like. Certainly not perfect, that's why a guillotine or something would be a lot better. Get off me. And when you could have even sort of folded some of this stuff over, but I wouldn't trust it to stay in place. With the bend in it, it'll be very tempted to come off again, I would think. Peel itself off, because it's sort of under tension. Start causing it to lift a bit just doing that. Now that's actually there's a couple of dodgy bits on there where it's been damaged. And like I say, far from perfect, but not bad. Is that very straight? I'm not sure. No, it's not real great. A bit eye cut straighter than the other edge. Certainly a lot easier to work with if you've got a straight edge to start with. And again, we'll cut it down to a thinner strip. That was the better edge. Even that little corner's starting to come off, so I think they really do need nicking just a little diagonal bit off the corners. And you can stretch this stuff a bit, which is good. If you put too much force on it, but you can kind of stretch it and pull it where you want it a bit. That's pretty good. I've got a slight bit too short on one end. And you do get a little bit of a white edge on this stuff, but it's not that noticeable once you sort of finish making it. Just do it like that is a better way rather than trying to do it in short bits. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I've got one little bit sticking over on that corner for some reason. Let's take that off. I mean, it's certainly so much better than what it was originally. It's just looked like rubbish before. And who knows what this will do in the sun and everything else, but I think this is meant to be for cars and stuff, so it should be pretty good quality, I would think. I need to take a little bit more off there. Just down that edge, I think. Down that end. Probably took a little bit too much off and just see the wood. And we're going to cut one more bit. Try to use the same strip. Well, it wasn't the straightest on one end, was it? Oh well, let's try it out. Might let both ends hang over a bit and trim them both. But that's pretty much dead onto that edge. That one's on the underside, so I can easily cut that off. Upper one I've got to be a bit more careful with. Yeah, I think I'm going too high. Still, you can come back and do it a second. Oh, I made a little bit of a mess of that one, yeah, because I went too high and then corrected. But if I take a little bit off there, very carefully. Of course, the original ones would have had some sort of something shaved off along this edge in some way, I think, to get them perfect. but I'm not quite up to factory standards yet. So yeah, that one's a little imperfect. And the last thing I've got to do is cut out these little screw holes. That's not quite perfect. And where's the other one there? Oops, a bit too far in. Come on. And then we have a good replica of some 70s vinyl. So they're a little loud in the amount of gloss on them, but the originals weren't exactly satin finish, I don't think. And I forgot the top of this stereo is now quite glossy because I resprayed that. This had rust right down to the metal, even under the better looking paint. So much like a 70s car, same sort of finish, no treatment to the metal, and they just painted over it, so I had to really sand the whole thing off. And that was just some glossy etch primer stuff I had, I think, or it might have been a matte etch primer, and then I had some glossy black paint I went over it with. I can't even remember now, but it's certainly looking a lot better. Back still in original condition, so we'll get rid of these. Well, these ends were the better ones, but they were the wrong ones. So that's the original sort of finish. That one was in quite good condition. Missing the top. That one's upside down because it was the whole wrong panel. It's about the only good thing I got off that other unit was the two end panels. So yeah, that's the originals, which are still in reasonable condition, but you can see that outer layer peeling off, so that's the kind of comparison. Yeah, I think I prefer this redder wood a lot more. That's a rather dull, rather 70s appliance or kitchen or cheapo. All the cheapo stereos came in that sort of same colour. Maybe if you grew up with it like I did, you're not really much of a fan of it. It looks like a cheap television, a cheap tape deck, or guess what some people consider classics now, but that is a rather dull brown. So I think we'll feed them into the wood heater this winter. And yeah, that is looking better, a lot better already, I think. So that's the new, nice new end on it. And they're a bit thicker, these, because those others, I think they were originals, but they didn't seem to fit that well. And I actually quite like the look of it. I didn't really like the wood grain ends on this much, but I think that having that more reddish tint to it looks a lot nicer. Those others probably were that colour to start with, and they look faded from the day they came out of the factory. They may have faded a bit, but it was kind of a horrible 70s colour, which anyone who grew up with 70s electronics, whether it was in the 70s or later, since obviously it was around for a lot longer than just the 70s, well into the 90s most of it, will probably not be too happy about that sort of colour. But yeah, that looks a heap better. I've got shiny black on it, the silver's cleaned up a bit better. I've never seen this thing look so good, and I've looked at it plenty since it was my old test amp. And like I say, it was just an $11 special or something, wasn't working, and I patched it up and used it for years. So I could have easily thrown it away and well and truly got my money's worth out of it, but that has actually come up. It's just sat around for so long because I never bothered replacing it or anything. I never even used my bench that much, but I kept my old repair bench, or part of it, with all the television and stuff for testing things, and this just survived because of that. But that has come up rather nice. So I'll use that thing, I think, as a display piece for now on a stack of tuners. Can I get that front panel to slide back a little bit? We do have a little bit of chipboard showing. I think it's pretty right, but as far as where it's going to sit, Maybe you can push it. Yeah, you can push it back slightly, I think, but it's going up at the same time, which is annoying. Sometimes you just got to jiggle them around. You could always elongate the holes a bit in these things to get them exactly where you want them, because now it's probably going to show a little bit of, yeah, just rubbish chipboard on the top. Yeah, that's back a bit. It definitely looks better back as far as it'll go. So I should have pushed a bit hard on those. And who knows, this might all peel off again or something, but yeah, that's quite nice. That's what it looks like, and I think that is a much nicer colour than this horrible... Where's one with the top on it? Do any of them have a top on them? Then this horrible brown. It's the dullest muddy brown you can get, whereas that's like a nice cedar or something brown, stained cedar at least. It's actually a massive upgrade over that colour for my taste anyway. And that is a more modern colour. You'll find on more modern amps and stuff that do have any wood grain stuff. Probably cars and things that have wood grain trim would be more of that colour, because it's maybe they couldn't do it that way in the old days, or maybe it's just the sort of drab 70s look they liked. But yeah, it's a very glossy, blingy looking thing now compared to what it was. It's quite an amazing transformation. Almost looks like it's new again. So I'll have to get a good photo of that for the thumbnail, but that is looking rather nice. Even though I don't know if this power switch is going to last. So it is a bit, you know, like someone commented, it probably is a bit of a waste just as a display piece, but I say I don't have any real money in it and don't really care to sell the thing. The idea was probably that I would end up selling it if I could get it going 100%, but I don't want to sell something that might have a dodgy power switch in it. So for the time being, I think I'll keep it. I've just got to remember to flick that switch around a few times when I'm walking past or whatever, try and get some use out of that and see if it arcs away again or if it lasts. But yeah, I'm happy with the results on that, so thanks for watching.